Newsbusters, along with Erin Elmore, a contributor at Turning Point USA. Good to see you both. Tim, I want to start with you. I know that that's your shocked face that Jake Tapper didn't push back on the congressman's own election denial claims. It's funny, I literally tweeted at that show the night before and said, here are all of his previous tweets. It was something that RNC Research had put out. You might want to bring these things up. Jeffries then goes on and brings up the subject of election denial twice, and Tapper says nothing and lets him just keep rolling on. See, that's the key. You're only an election denier if you're a Republican. Erin, later in the same interview, Hakeem Jeffries made remarks about Kevin McCarthy. I want to play you those.
Kevin McCarthy has said that he is willing to detonate the American economy, default on our nation's debt in order to try to strip away Social Security and Medicare.
Okay, so that's patently false. Kevin McCarthy has never said that at all, nothing close to that. And yet, again, literally for somebody who gets up there and is so pious and righteous about Republicans lying, Tapper sits there and nods his head, letting him lie through his teeth.
But you know what? I feel like I'm becoming a broken record here. The mainstream media is an arm of the Democrat Party, and we just have to realize that's how this is going to go. There's a tacit contract between all of these media outlets, whether they're print or on television, that they just run cover for Democrats and their lies. And by the way, Hakeem Jeffries has said several things that are quite troubling. When Amy Coney Barrett was elected to the Supreme Court, he called for war. He called pro-lifers cult members. His uncle Leonard Jeffries is a known anti-Semite, and he also thinks that border walls are immoral. So how he has gotten into the position that he has really shows you what the media has done to protect him, because he is by no means anyone that was sort of a centrist attitude. He's not the kind of guy that's going to reach across the aisle. But when you have the backing of the mainstream media, you can say or do anything and they'll run cover just because you have the letter D next to your name.
You know, it's funny, Tim, when Erin says, you know, the same thing, it's not just a talking point, right? Jake Tapper literally was a Democratic staffer. I mean, so this isn't like some talking point that folks like Erin and others use. I mean, it's literally true. Another person who was a Democratic staffer was Chuck Todd. I want to show you what he said in an interview that Mike Pence did with him about his book and his views on the Dobbs case. Take a look.
You're a limited government guy. I know this, and you really are. Are you comfortable with the idea of essentially government-mandated pregnancy? You're now advocating a law that essentially the government is ordering you to go through with this pregnancy.
So now if you are pro-life, Tim, if you believe in life, then you are a government-mandated pregnancy person. This is a new one for me. I couldn't believe they came up with that one. But then again, as Erin said, I feel like I keep getting more and more outraged by the day, and it doesn't seem to faze anybody. But, you know, this is the fun part about this. We get to shed a little light on it. Nancy Pelosi yesterday sent out a statement in recognition of Transgender Day of Remembrance. Here's the thing in the statement that I thought was fascinating. She writes, right-wing extremists target transgender Americans' most fundamental rights and freedoms. No one seemed to think that that was inappropriate for her to say that.
Well, it's highly inappropriate, and it shows that she's politicizing a tragedy. And we've seen on the mainstream media channels, once again, that the perpetrator of this violent crime had an uncle who was a Republican. You know, I have a lot of uncles who are Democrats. You know, I don't think that that's a cause or a correlation. And the part about her comment that bothers me, it didn't say how Republicans and MAGA extremists are doing this. I'm sorry that Republicans want to protect our children and not mutilate them sexually or with surgery to sort of fit the leftist narrative. She isn't explaining how any of this is happening. She's just lobbing out insults and scare tactics to try to sort of elevate her cause. And it's pretty sad and pretty transparent, but without any sort of accountability, we're going to continue to see things like this. And when it's liberals on the left, they can do whatever they want. These people are mourning the loss of family members who were so tragically murdered. And this is what she decides to do. It's really sickening and dark.
Yeah, unbelievable, unbelievable. Anyway, Tim, Erin, always great to kick off Mondays with you. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Sure.
Have a great week. Happy Thanksgiving.